Hello ladies and gentlemen, Accentor here, and welcome back to another video. Now I hope all of you guys are doing good, as I am as always, and I just really hope you guys are sharing the same point of view as I am for this video. So today we'll be discussing the Boeing 767-300 potential future rework in infinite flight. Now it is worth noting this has not been confirmed, there's no confirmation for this, there's nothing to prove that this is actually going to happen. Now the reason I actually want to discuss it is because I think it's quite an important aircraft. It's not been touched in the Infinite Flight Mobile Flight Simulator since about 2012, I think, is what it says in the Infinite Flight community. So this aircraft hasn't been changed since 2012. Now, whilst the exterior of this aircraft does look quite, adequate for Infinite Flight level of aircraft, I feel like it's missing quite a few features. So for a start, we've got the interior of the aircraft. Yeah, that's a big oof. And then we've got the cockpit, which is probably, I hate saying this, but one of the worst commercial airline cockpits in infinite flight. It's definitely worse than the A380, A340, 747, and the A3. No, that's it actually. It's definitely worse than the other aircraft cockpits that we have in infinite flight. The 767 in itself, though, is a well-known aircraft in infinite flight, and it is still flown by many aircraft in the world. Now, the actual thing on the infinite flight community discussing the Boeing 767 rework does involve lots of different stuff in it. So for a start, it wants all of the new variants of the 767. So we're talking the 767-200ER, the extended range, the 300 which we have, and the 300ER. The 300, the freight version, and the 400ER as well. So these are lots and lots of different variants. And in fact, the 767-300ER has loads of different livery opportunities for the Infinite Flight Mobile Flight Simulator. Now, I think if we were to get a 767-300 rework, I'd be happy with just that and just get a few new additional liveries. Because if we just go and have a look right now, we don't have that many livery options. We've got that's 5. There's about 12 or 13 livery options. You've got the old American Airlines livery, which looks quite cool, the old United and the United Continental as well. Now the 767, apparently, so this is the 767 rework page on Infinite Flight that I'm talking about right now, and it says the 767 does not only deserve a rework, it needs a rework. So I think that's a fair point. This aircraft, in comparison to all of the others in Infinite Flight, it definitely needs a rework. So look at this poor thing. We're going to put it in short file. I did not realise we have aircraft audio on. I really hope you could all hear me for the start of this video. So we're going to have to calibrate and go into short final mode again. And it is worth noting we don't actually have a cockpit view. So that is again another downside to this aircraft. It's quite a bit weird and awkward to fly here. Are we going to land? There we go. And so the aircraft itself, it feels weird when you fly it. It's quite a heavy aircraft, in comparison to the others. Are we even going to stop in time for this small runway? So it's again a very awkward aircraft to fly, if you ask me. Now, whilst it does look good sort of in the exterior with regards to the reverse thrust here, we've got the flaps, the spoilers, I think some of the animations are rather unrealistic. So you see how quick the flaps are up and down, and these flaps again, look how quickly they go up and down. Like it's not very realistic in reality as well. Now, like I said, when we look at the exterior of the aircraft, it's good. But in a full 767 rework, we'd hope to get an interior cabin. Now, by interior cabin, I'm expecting seats inside and everything, like we have with all of our current aircraft. Now, I wouldn't expect the full aircraft to be full of an interior, really. I'd sort of maybe only expect the first 2/3 or 2/3 of the seats, maybe, or even just 1/3 at the front. Or maybe some at the middle. I think it would be a bit pushing if we had a full seated aircraft, because I think that would be rather laggy for many people playing the Mobile Flight Simulator. Now we're going to see how easy this aircraft is to take off. We don't need to worry about our flaps going down, because they'll be down pretty much instantly there. So we're just going to go for it. Never really want to exceed more than 90% on takeoff, so we'll leave it at that. Okay. So the first thing I've noticed is this aircraft, it does accelerate rather quickly, although yeah, for a short runway it sort of has to, but it's definitely moving very quick, very fast. On just this, remember this is just 80%, and this aircraft is zooming already. So I'm going to rotate and just see how it goes. Oh, okay. We had to use our rudder there quite a bit, unfortunately. We're going to see this gear animation as well. okay. It's not really too fast actually for gear animation. It's quite an alright gear animation, I think I'd say, in comparison to some of the other ones. And then turning the aircraft as well. It doesn't feel that bad. Like, it feels alright, and it's definitely bearable. So we'll go back to takeoff at this airport. Oh, also, if anyone can tell me what airport this is, I know where I am, but if you guys can guess what airport this is, let me know down below. Little fun challenge for you all. I'll give you a quick aerial view of it. So yeah. Now, the 767 itself, I can definitely see when we talk about additional reworks coming to it soon in Infinite Flight. I can see Infinite Flight adding another one of its variants. Now, I think the cargo variant would be the most, popular one, or the most likely one, because we have lots of commercial, but I think it'd be cool to see some more cargo aircraft in Infinite Flight. So on the 767-300 freight, there's ABX Air, Air Japan, Asiana Airlines. So these aren't just cargos, by the looks of it. There's Cargojet, DHL, FedEx, LATAM Cargo, Polar Air Cargo, TAM Cargo, UPS as well. So there's quite a few cargo options on the 767, which is quite interesting, because I never really knew there were that many cargo options on the Boeing 767. So that's quite interesting to hear, if you ask me. So this aircraft itself, again, you can just tell. So we'll go look at the cockpit quickly again, but we'll look at it properly this time. And I'll let you guys know what we expect within the 767 rework cockpit. Now, for a start, you'd expect a door at the back, well, a bit better than that door. You'd expect the shelves as usual, and the buttons on the side, and you'd expect it all to be pretty much a full 3D cockpit. You'd expect here, you can see that the throttle is not working, and I don't know if the gear thing works either. We're about to see. No, the gear stick doesn't work either, so that's a bit unfortunate. And you'd expect, a full life cockpit, all of these buttons to be honest, with the gear would work, the flaps and that, you'd expect them all to work, but they don't, they're static. You'd have buttons up here, so somewhere up here will be the landing lights, which are there. The seat belts will be over here, I'd imagine, on the right. And I'd expect most of them to be working a bit like they do in like the 747, not the 747, the 777s that we have in Infinite Flight as well. So again, I think that's something very worth noting. So a full live cockpit we would see in this rework. I'm pretty sure Infinite Flight would have to pretty much rip this aircraft apart and build it again from scratch, like they did with the 777 reworks as well. I do think this aircraft needs more than just a live cockpit edition, just from looking at the flaps and everything. It's not a bit like this with the 737s and the A320 family, where they just were able to put a live cockpit on because the aircraft was of good quality already. Unfortunately, the 767 is not one of those aircraft, unfortunately. Now, whilst it is, again, a great aircraft in Infinite Flight, I can definitely see it getting a rework in the nearer future than some of the other aircraft. Now, it is worth noting that I think the A380 should have a little bit more priority, and the A340 over a 767 rework, just because I feel like there are less Airbus aircraft in Infinite Flight, but it would also be cool, talking of other aircraft, to see a 787 live cockpit, another Boeing aircraft, because that aircraft is, again, of quality, unlike this one. Great example, which can just have a live cockpit added, but this aircraft needs, unfortunately, a bit of work to its physics and everything as well, I believe. Even though it's good, I feel like Infinite Flight can definitely do better, as they have great, amazing high standards. Now, the 767, I will try and leave a poll in the description as soon as I can, when I remember, but the 767 has quite a bit of popularity actually in the Infinite Flight community for its rework. So I think that's definitely a rework we can see in the near future. Now, if you are in agreeable to a 767 rework in Infinite Flight, please let me know down below. It will mean quite a lot to me if people are in agreeable, because I'm thinking this aircraft is definitely one we can get pushed through the votes rather soon for a rework, and I think that would be great to see happen in Infinite Flight. So we're just going to try one more landing and just see how it goes on the tiny runway, of course. It was a bit bumpy, and we'll just try and come to a full stop. Again, you can see it wasn't, oh, for some reason it's flared EM. It wasn't an awful aircraft to land. We did manage to land it, and we got through it. So if you did find this video helpful, or you think it was good, please let me know down below. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new, okay, because all the support means everything as well. But other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Good night.
Find your way.